Hey everybody, so now we are ready for your PowerPoint certification. So we got a little activity here that's going to walk us through the practice for the PowerPoint certification. So, excuse me, I'm going to walk through this. I'm going to show you each of these steps. We'll probably break this into two parts. So the assignment that you have out there that you'll be able to find everything in is going to be, let's see here. So you can see it. It's called PowerPoint Certification Study Guide. And we'll have our learning goal and then the files that we'll be using. So the first thing we want to do is you're going to download or open up this PowerPoint practice. You want to open that up. So click on that and open it up. And then when you open that up, you're going to save it. You're going to do a download it from your system. So it'll open up here in Teams. Let me give this just a minute. Okay, so when that file opens up, first thing you're going to do is you're going to do a file. And download a copy. So this is being really slow today, guys. So I will walk through this with you in class to show you how to do this. So you're going to do a file, download a copy, and when that does, it'll then open up the PowerPoint here. And when you get that PowerPoint open, you'll see that there are 19 slides in this. We're going to be working on these, adding a few, making changes to it, doing the functions that you need to know to be ready for your PowerPoint certification test. So minimize that, and I'm going to take us back to our back to Teams, where you'll be able to see the file that you're going to need for your instructions. I'm going to have printed copies of these, but you'll also be able to have them online as well. It is the directions for the PowerPoint. It's your directions for your study guide, showing you each of the pieces that you need to do. So that file can be open, download is this one right here. I'm gonna make it just a little bit bigger so it's easier to read on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I don't think you guys need to look at me while we're doing this. So we're going to jump right into this right away. So this is your study guide. The first thing it says in here, if we scroll down here, scroll up and look at instruction number 1, it says edit the title and content layout slide by adding a content placeholder and aligning it with the title placeholder, then renaming that layout Contoso. Okay, because we know that we are editing a layout, that means we have to use the slide master. So we'll go back to our PowerPoint, select the View tab at the top there. Then you're going to click on Slide Master. And it was the title and content layout. So we're going to roll that up here. Title and content layout, which is this one right here. So as soon as we get done with that, it said we're going to insert let me jump back there just to look at that instruction. It said it wants you to insert a placeholder, a title placeholder, and then rename that. We go back here, insert placeholder, and we're going to insert a content placeholder. And then we're going to draw that out on here. And you want to just line it up with the title placeholder. So you're going to make sure it lines up at the top and the bottom. And then put that in there like that. So once you've done that, then we'll go over here to the slide that we're on. And you will right click. And when you right click on that, you're going to select the rename. And it said to rename it Contoso. And then click rename. Then, of course, once you get done with that, the first next thing you do after you're done, before you go back to anything, is you close your slide master. Okay, so that's step number 1. That's the first instruction that we need to do. Number 2 here says hide all comments in the presentation. Okay, so to do that, we'll go back to our presentation. These are comments, and these may or may not be on, but you're going to go to the Review tab. That's where we go, is to the Review tab. And in the Review tab, you'll see a section under Comments. It says Show Comments, and it's going to say Show Markup. So by removing that Show Markup, unchecking that, it'll remove any comments that are in the presentation. So there's step number 2 that we just finished. So number 3, it says add a curtain transition between slides 1 and 2. Okay, so to do this, we are going to select or click on slide 2, put our cursor on slide 2, and from the navigation pane on the left-hand side, we're going to click Transition, and we're going to find that curtain transition by looking at our transitions here. It's in the exiting, and it says Curtain Transition. So let's see, it says Slide Transition, apply that transition, boom. So that's everything we needed to do with that. Okay, and you can play that to see how it works. You go up here and you click on slide 1, and we'll say play. So you play, you click, it goes to the next slide, opens right there between 1 and 2. So that shows our transition is working. So that was step number 3. Number 4 on here is to add all the slides in the CARS PowerPoint to the end of the presentation in order. Okay, so this, we're going to use that function we used last time called New Slide, Reuse Slides. So if we go back to our PowerPoint, so we're going back here and open up the PowerPoint. And we're going to go to the bottom of it because it says to add it at the bottom. So you'll click on the either last slide or below the last slide. And then we'll go to back to Home. And where it says New Slide, you'll click New Slide. And then down the bottom it says Reuse Slides. We did this the other day. You'll click on Browse over here. And then you should have downloaded the CARS PowerPoint. So I have that CARS PowerPoint downloaded here on my H drive. And that's where you should have it. You click on CARS PowerPoint and say Open. And it'll pull those 3 slides in. And it says to put them in order. So to do that, we're just going to click on the first one. We'll click on Foreign Cars, the second one, and then click on the third one, My Favorite Cars. Okay, so that should give you a total of 22 slides. You can go ahead and close that pane. And so everything's ready. We're set to work with that. So the next item here is number 5. It says remove document properties and personal information. Now, we haven't done that in any of our documents that we've been working on in the past. So what I want you to do is you are going to go back, we'll go to your PowerPoint, and document properties, whenever it says anything like that, document properties and that is in the back page, which we would click File to get to. So click on the File. And when you click on File, it'll open that up. And then we're going to go to Info. So File and Info. And then you'll find remove the properties, personal properties, you have to go to the Inspect. So we're going to click Check for Issues. And we're going to inspect this document. So when we inspect this document, yes, it's going to possibly remove data. So it's going to run, it's going to bring up a list of things here. And we are looking for let's see, it's set on this to remove personal document properties and personal information. So we're going to scroll down here so we can see document properties. We're going to run the inspect. let it run. There's our document properties. Let it run, it'll go through. So here's your document properties and personal information. You're just going to click remove all, and then that will remove all of those. Now in some of your the test, it may ask you to remove presentation notes. It may ask you to remove something else from here, and you would just do that. But if it doesn't ask you, you only do what it says. So we just did that. It just said remove the document properties and personal information. Now you can close that. So done with that one. Now we are on number 6. It wants us to apply the droplet theme to the slide master. Okay, so because it wants us to apply it to the slide master, that means it's going to apply this droplet theme to the entire presentation. So remember, to get to our slide master, we have to select view. Then we'll click on slide master. And this one we want to scroll all the way to the top to the very first of the largest slide in the panel on the left-hand side. And that is our slide master. So once you're in there, you then are going to choose your themes off of the slide master menu. And we're going to use the droplet. So let's just go down here till we find, it says circuit. What else is there? Let's scroll down here. Let's see. Cone. You're just going to put your mouse over these until you find the one that we're looking for. There's the droplet. It's there. So we're going to say droplet. And it'll apply that to that. And then once we've done that, you're going to say close. And then you'll see that that will be on every slide in the presentation. So it's applied it across the board to all of those. So I'm going to go back here. So that was number 6. Number 7, it says group the 4 pictures on slide 8. So to do that, grouping pictures allows you to make multiple pictures look like one. So we're going to go down here to slide 8. Scroll down here to slide 8. And so to group those, what we're going to need to do, first off, is we need to select the first picture. Then we're going to click on the control button, hold it down, select the other 3 pictures. So we've selected all 4 of those. And once we've done that, we are going to make sure we've selected all 4 of them. And we're going to click on the picture tab where it says Format Pictures, Tools, and there's a button here called Group, and it's going to say Group, and we're going to select Group. So now that makes that one picture, so you can move it around. So we've grouped those into one picture there. So done with that. So moving on down to step number 8, which says change the color of the smart art graphics on slide 17 to a colorful range, accent color 4 to 5. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get to slide 17. So we're going to go back to our PowerPoint, move down here in our navigation pane to slide 17. Now these are the smart arts is what they are. So once we're in there, we are going to select the smart art. Okay, let's look at this. So it says, back the instruction when we did this, let me make sure. So it says change the color to smart art graphics on slide 17 to a colorful range, accent color 4 or 5. So we're going to select the smart art, change the color drop down, and then scroll up if necessary to find the correct color. Okay, so we'll go back here. We're going to select the smart art. We can do it for all of these. There. We'll go to select the smart art. And then go back to our design. Change the color button. So we're going to design. And we're looked into for accent let's see, we are looking for in the instructions, it says, colorful range accent 4 to 5. So we're going to slide down here until we get to what's called colorful range. Here's your colorful range. And then we're going to roll over until we get to, that's 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Okay? So that changed that and that. So there you go. So that was step number 9, number 8. So here we are on step number 9. So on slide 9, animate the text so that the first line wipes from the top immediately when the slide is shown, and each sequential lines wipes from the top 1 second after the previous line. Okay, so slide 9, and we're going to animate the text. So we'll go here, slide up to slide 9, so we get to the right slide we're working on. And here's the text. So we're going to animate this first line of text. So we'll select that. We'll say animate. And we are going to have it, let's see, I think it said that we need to have it wipe. So we'll select the wipe. And then we'll select the wipe effect from the top, which is what it said. So now that one does. Now we're going to select the rest of the text in here, and we will do the wipe also, set the wipe effect from the top, and then over here on this section here where it says we're going to set it to, we got to go back and do a couple things. So this animation, we're going to set the duration, the delay, to be 1 second. So it's going to be, yep, just 1.0. Okay. So the other thing we need to do is look at our animation pane, because we want to make sure that this one selects with previous, so it's when it opens, and then the remainder of these are going to, oops, let's click on that. The remainder of these are going to be after previous, start after previous. So let me just double check and make sure I'm looking at this right. Select the bullet points with the exception first, choose the wipe. We did that from the top, then delay the second. Okay, so let's see if we got this right after previous and see if this applies all the way down. Let's see what we got. So we're going to play this slide and see if it works. So slide. Oh, okay. So we need to set each one of those to after previous. So we're just going to go in here and let's do this. Let's select all of this. And when we do that, we can then set the whole thing to go after previous. So now when we play this, you'll see the first one swipes in, boom, boom, boom. There's a 1 second delay between each one of those. So that was a little tricky, but I want to remind you guys. So first one we did, we selected just this top line, and we put the animation on it, and then this slide effect, and we set it after we went and we set that to start with previous. So it starts as soon as the previous slide opens, when the slide opens. Then we selected all of these. We put our animation on all of them. We selected our wipe effect here. And then we set our delay on these all to 1 minute. Or 1 second, okay? And once we did that, we said after previous. So now that's what that did all the way across. So be able to watch that. So 1, 2, they come in just nice and slowly across the board like that. So there's a little bit of delay. Okay, that was a little tricky one. We hadn't used that in a while. So now slide number 10, or instruction number 10 on here that we're going to work on is on slide 12, add a 3D cluster bar chart that shows the majors as the categories and the current enrollments as a series. Use the data from the table to populate the chart. Okay, so we did this in charts. So we're going to, first off, let's go back to our PowerPoint. We're going to go to slide 12 right here. So on this side, we are going to go to, let's double check and make sure we get this right. We're going to go to our Insert tab, and we are going to select a chart. So across here, we're going to select chart, and it was a bar, and it was a clustered, but it was a 3D cluster. So make sure we select 3D cluster. Okay, so that says using the chart, 3D cluster, and then we're going to say okay to that. Give that a minute to create itself. So it's going to create, it's going to make itself a little bit big here. So we're going to size it up a little bit. So just go ahead and grab the corners of this, size it up, and then move it so we can put it on this side over here. Okay, and then here's your data. Remember, whenever you create a chart, you're going to have your data. So it says enter the information from the table on slide 12 into the small Excel worksheet. So this table over here, we're going to enter into the slide to reflect the information correctly. So it told us that we want the majors as categories. So over here, we're going to put the majors. So this first one is PowerPoint. The second one there is Word. And then our third one down here is Excel. Okay. And on the series, it tells us to make the series current enrollment. So we're going to change this series here to enrollment. Okay. So we don't have a category 4. So we're going to go ahead and delete that one. So just select it, right click and delete. And we don't have series, we don't have these series 2 or 3. So we can right click and then delete the table columns. Okay. So those are gone. So now all we have over here is just Excel, current enrollment, Excel, and then there's your numbers on the bottom. So that's the way that chart. So once you've done that, you can close this, and then there's your chart in there, 3D, done. So back to our instructions for the next instruction. We are on instruction number 11, or question number 11, which is add a linear down granulated fill to the body placeholder of the notes master. Okay, first off, the linear downgrade fill is a fill option, but we're placing it on the placeholder, the body placeholder of the notes master. Okay, so because that says notes master, we know that we have to go to the slide master saying to find the notes tab master. So we'll go to view, then you will select slide master. And then on this side, let's go ahead and close this animation pane. So we have plenty of room over here. So you're going to go down these slides until you find the notes. Till we find the notes. So let's see what we got here. So, oh, hang on. That's just wrong. So let's try this again. We're going to go down here. We're going to select view. Sorry about that, guys. And then here, instead of selecting slide master, we're going to select notes. So when we select on the notes, okay, so we'll select notes. Okay, so we select, okay, select notes. And we're going to go to, let's see what we got here. The View tab and the body placeholder. Okay. Okay, guys, let's scratch that. We're going to start all over. So I'm going to try this again. The View tab, if we follow our instructions, it says the View tab, select the body placeholder on the bottom of the Notes master. So the body placeholder on the bottom. So we click on the Notes and then click on this body placeholder down here. Okay, guys, we're going to start with instruction 11, which is add a linear down granulated fill to the body placeholder of the Notes master. Let's pull this up here. So instruction 11, it says add a linear down granulated fill to the body placeholder of the Notes master. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the View tab and select the body placeholder. So these are your instructions here. So we're going back to our PowerPoint. This is what you guys will be following. So we're going to click on our View tab, and then we're going to click on our Notes Master. Instead of Slide Master, we'll click on our Notes Master. And then down here at the bottom, this bottom section is the body placeholder. So we're going to click on. We're going to select the Format tab, and we're going to use the Shape Fill option, Granulated, and then the granulation that it wants us to use is a linear down. So, okay, so let's click on granulated. Let's see, as we go across these, that's a linear diagonal, a linear down. Click on the linear down, okay? And then once we've done that, we go back to your Notes Master and say Tab and then close the Slide Master. So that changes that. Okay, I know that was a little bit tricky. We'll come back to that again in the next round. So slide 6, instruction number 12 here is on slide 7. It says resize the 16-pointed star so that it is twice as large. The height and the width of the shape should remain proportionate. Okay, so the easiest way to do this, we're going to go to slide 12. Where did slide 12 go? There it is. So slide 7, sorry, slide 7. We're going to select this picture. And the best way to do that, to change this, is going to be to go into it so that we can edit the proportions of the picture. So just hang on here. We're going to edit. See what it says here on this. So we're going to select it. We're going to go to drawing tools format. And within the drawing tools format, we're going to select size and properties. So here's your size and properties. Now, if you know what, you're not going to be able to figure the math out. So the best way is to click on this little button here on the side, opens up the full size and properties. You're going to select the lock ratio. That means it's going to lock the ratios the same. So we want to increase the size of this by 12, make it twice as large. So our scale height is 100%. We're going to change that to 200%. So you can just go in here and type in 200. And when you do that, it'll automatically change the scale width. So it's going to make it 200%. So we're just going to grab this and move it up so it's, even though it's bigger than it. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to make it 200%. And this is the way we do it. By going to the Format, Design Tools Format, over here where it says Size, you click on the little button there. It opens up the menu, gives you more. You're going to lock your aspect ratio and then change your sizes over here to twice it. It's easier. Otherwise, it's doing the math, trying to figure it out mathematically. Then you can just close that. So that is that step. Let's see, that was number 12. Now we're on number 13. So it says save the presentation to the documents folder as an XPS file named presentation. Okay, so this is just another save option that we're going to do. So we're going to open the presentation. We're going to go to File, Save As. And when you do the Save As, it wants you to save it to a specific size. So I'm going to save it to my desktop or the H drive I have here. So I'm putting the H drive, and it says call it presentation. And then it asks for the file type. So you want to change it to an XPS. So you're going to select the file type, and then you'll see an XPS document. That's the file type. And then you just say save, and it will save it. It'll save it in that file format. So that's all that was. It'll take it back to there. Step number 14 is where we are now. I'm going to roll this up on the screen so you can see it. So it says add, out of the way. So it says add the orange 18 glow, 18-point glow, accent glow effect, and 5-point soft edge to the picture on slide 7. Okay, so there's a lot of things we need to do in this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the picture on slide 11 and go to Picture Tools and Formats. So on slide 7, excuse me. So go here. Give me some trouble. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so we go back to slide 7. We're going to select this picture. And like I said, we'll select the picture, and then we're going to go to Picture Tools, Format. You see the Picture Tools, Format. And in that, it says Picture Tools, Format there. And we're going to select Picture Effects, which is right here. And we want the glow. So we're going to click on Glow. And we want to do an orange 18 point. So we're going to go down here. That's a glow 5-point. Okay, so we got here. Mouse over them. 18-point green, 18-point blue. See if they're in. 18-point orange accent 4. Okay, so that puts that little orange glow around the outside of it. That's what that does. And then now we're ready for number 17, 16, 15. Excuse me. My gosh, I can't count today. 15. So on slide 5, add a hyperlink of hyperlink humongousInsurance.com travel to the text exam format. Okay, so we're going back to our PowerPoint. We're going to go to slide 5. Okay, and this is the text too. We're going to hide a hyperlink to the text. So select that text, right click, and then select hyperlink. And you're going to need to put that link in here. Now, don't type it. I can't type humongous. You're not going to be able to. It's one of the #1 misspelled words. So go back to your instructions and just go to the end of this and copy this link. Okay? Highlight it, right click, copy it, go back to your PowerPoint, and then here in the address box, do a Control V and say OK and pop that in there. So now your hyperlink is attached to that text in there. So that's number 15 and number 16. We're going to stop at number 16 on this video, and I'll start another one in a minute. So 16 says configure show type as browse by an individual and advance slides manually. Okay, so we are going to go back to our PowerPoint, and we're going to click on the show type. So let's go back here. It says click on the slideshow tab, and then in the slideshow tab there should be, let's see, slideshow tab. It says set up slideshow. We'll click on setup, and we get into the setup. Under show type over here, here's your show type. It's going to say browse by individual. Okay, click on that dot, add that one. And then we're going to go over to the other side, under where it says advanced. Advanced slides, we're going to say advance manually and click OK. Okay, so that is the first 15 steps or questions on this certification practice test. We are going to stop here, and I am going to we're going to stop here, and then we will finish this up at another time. Let me see.